Most people think small towns are safe. Quiet streets, familiar faces, doors that never lock because everyone knows each other. But those who've lived in one long enough will tell you the same thing. What you don't see in the daylight becomes clear at night. And sometimes it's not the shadows you should be afraid of, but the people who know how to hide in them. What I'm about to tell you is a true story. It happened in a town you've probably never heard of, somewhere in the American Midwest. A place with one grocery store, a single traffic light, and a neighborhood so still at night that you could hear your own heart beating. This story is about what really lurks in the quiet corners of small-town America. The move. It began when my cousin Hannah, a 23-year-old nursing student, moved into her grandmother's old house after she passed. The house sat on the very edge of town, where paved roads dissolved into cracked dirt lanes. Hannah wasn't the type to scare easily. She grew up in the city, used to noise, strangers, even danger. So when she inherited the house, she saw it as a retreat, a chance to study, save money, and breathe cleaner air. The first few weeks went fine. She'd call me at night, telling me how peaceful it was. No car horns, no sirens, just crickets, cicadas, and the occasional bark of a neighbor's dog. But she admitted something else too. "It's too quiet," she said once. "Like the town's holding its breath." I laughed it off. Small town silence always feels heavier than city quiet. She'd get used to it. Or so I thought. First strange encounter. One night, she called me in a hushed whisper. Someone knocked on the door. It was 11:47 p.m. She lived half a mile from her closest neighbor. Who the hell would be knocking that late? I asked if she looked outside. She said yes. She had peeked through the curtains. No one was there, she told me. But Victory, I swear, I saw footprints on the porch, just standing there, like someone had been waiting. I brushed it off. Maybe a delivery man mixed up the address. Maybe kids playing pranks. Small towns get bored fast. But she didn't sound convinced. The second time. A week later, it happened again. This time, the knock came at 3:12 a.m. 3 slow knocks, not hurried, not impatient, measured, like whoever was out there didn't mind waiting. Hannah froze. She didn't open the door. She didn't even check the window. She just sat in her bed, phone clutched to her chest, staring at the ceiling while those knocks echoed through the house. When she finally built up the courage to look outside, again, no one was there. But she noticed something worse. The garden gate, which she always locked, was wide open, the town's warning. Hannah tried to bring it up to a neighbor, a middle-aged woman who lived a few blocks away. When she told her about the knocks, the woman went pale. Then she lowered her voice, as though the whole town might hear her. "Don't answer it, ever, no matter how many times they knock." "Who?" Hannah asked. The woman just shook her head. "Just don't." She never got another explanation, but the way that neighbors' hands trembled told her enough. This wasn't some harmless prank. The Watcher. For a while, things calmed down. No knocks, no open gates, just silence. But silence doesn't always mean safety. One evening, Hannah noticed something odd when she closed her blinds. Across the dirt road, right by the tree line, stood a man. Tall, still, just watching. She froze, hands hovering near the blinds. His face was shadowed, too far to make out, but she could feel his gaze, like he'd been there the whole time, waiting for her to notice. She shut the blinds so fast the string tangled in her hands. She called the sheriff the next morning. They sent a deputy who drove around, checked the area, found nothing. Just probably some drifter passing through. But drifters don't stand outside the same house 2 nights in a row, and they don't leave gifts. The gift. On her porch, she found something that made her blood run cold. A single Polaroid photo. It was of her house, taken from outside. But it wasn't from the road. The angle was higher, like someone had stood right against her window, pointing the camera inside. On the back, scrawled in messy ink, were 3 words. I see you. The night she ran. Hannah didn't sleep for days. She kept the lights on, double-locked the doors, but she still heard things at night. Scratches against the siding, faint footsteps on the gravel outside. Then one night, it escalated. At 2:19 a.m., the knocks returned. Louder, heavier, more insistent. This time, they didn't stop. She sat frozen in bed, clutching her phone. The knocking grew faster, angrier, until it felt like the door would splinter. She whispered to me on the phone, "He's here." Then, silence. The knocking stopped. She crept out of her room, trembling, holding her phone like a weapon. The house was dark. Her own breathing was deafening. She reached the living room. The door looked untouched, perfectly still. But then, from the kitchen window, a face. Pressed against the glass, smiling. The escape. She screamed, bolted for the back door, and ran barefoot down the dirt road, phone shaking in her hand. The sheriff's deputies found her nearly a mile away, hiding behind an abandoned gas station. When they searched the house, everything was locked. Every window, every door. No signs of forced entry, but the kitchen window had a single handprint. Aftermath. Hannah never went back. She moved out the next day, left everything behind. Clothes, furniture, even her grandmother's keepsakes. The sheriff never caught anyone. Officially, the report just says possible trespasser. But I'll never forget what Hannah told me later, voice shaking, eyes red from sleepless nights. It wasn't random. He knew me. He knew my name. Because that night, before I ran, he whispered it through the glass. And the scariest part? She never told me what he looked like because she swore she'd seen that face before in town. Small towns like to hide their secrets behind smiling neighbors, behind friendly shopkeepers, behind good old-fashioned values. But if you look close enough, if you stay long enough, you'll see it too. The shadows aren't empty. And sometimes the most terrifying monsters aren't strangers. They're the ones who already know your name.